Bryan Freedman, Justin Baldoni's attorney, has just shot back at Blake Lively's motion to dismiss. Blake is abusing the legal system. 3 exclamation points. Bryan Freedman tells TMZ Miss Lively's recent motion to dismiss herself from the self-concocted disaster.
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit. It's all going to be based on evidence. It's not going to be just a lawsuit. It's going to be the kind of lawsuit.
Hollywood isn't just glitz, glam, and overpriced lattes, it's also lawsuits, settlements, and celebrity arm twisting. Enter Bryan Freedman, the attorney known for tackling high-profile cases. Now, he's caught in a legal tug-of-war that, unsurprisingly, involves Blake Lively. Because of course when Hollywood's elite face legal battles, they bring their signature dramatic flair from courtroom showdowns to behind-the-scenes maneuvering. This case is shaping up to be as compelling as a blockbuster script.
Because actually, Blake Lively's publicist, Leslie Sloan, was planting stories negative to Justin. And all Justin wanted to do, and it's all through the text messages. If the New York Times apparently reviewed 1,000 or more pages of text messages, they would have seen it. Justin never wanted to hurt her, never wanted to be negative to her. He wanted to protect the film. He wanted to protect himself.
One might expect lawsuits to be settled through rational discussions, fair agreements, and a simple handshake. However, this is Hollywood, where disputes escalate into power plays. Blake Lively is not sitting back and letting the legal system handle matters passively. According to Bryan Freedman, she is exerting every possible influence to push for a settlement, applying pressure, persuasion, and utilizing her celebrity clout. In this high-stakes battle, no one is holding back, transforming the case into a must-watch, dramatic showdown. Every twist adds excitement and tension.
What they did was they worked with the New York Times. Her publicist worked directly with the New York Times. They shared illegally obtained text messages. They shared those together. They concocted a complaint that they filed with the Civil Rights Division. They omitted texts that would have provided context, texts that were in the exact same string that would have provided context of what was really going on.
Bryan Freedman is no stranger to high-stakes legal battles. He's fought for some of Hollywood's biggest names. So, if he says Blake Lively is making things tough for the opposing side, you can bet there's more to the story. In Hollywood, people don't just ask for things, they make them happen. And if a settlement is in play, Lively isn't sitting back waiting for the paperwork to process. She's actively pushing, proving that star power extends far beyond the screen.
She initiated is one of the most abhorrent examples of abusing our legal system. Freedman says stringent rules are put into place to protect the innocent and allow individuals to rightfully defend themselves, while noting laws are not meant to be twisted and curated by privileged elites to fit their own personal agenda.
So, what's Blake Lively doing? If the whispers are true, she's applying serious pressure to ensure this case wraps up quickly. No, she's not tossing around legal jargon in court. Hollywood stars have people for that. Instead, she's reportedly using her influence in ways only someone of her stature can. When A-listers want results, they don't wait, they make things happen. And Lively is no exception.
Okay, so this is an excerpt from my new favorite book, which is the website that Justin Baldoni published, all about his correspondence with Blake Lively. And this is one of my favorite excerpts with my new favorite Game of Thrones character, Blake Lively. Are you ready for it? And him serving it back to her is just as important. You don't usually see both the man and the woman with such agency and humor. Anyway, I can act it out for you next week to make sure it comes through. Or I can send it now. Let me know what you prefer. XX.
When an A-lister wants something, they don't just ask, they mobilize their team, tap into their connections, and sometimes even use the media to steer things in their favor. And if there's one thing Hollywood hates more than a prolonged lawsuit, it's bad press. So, if Blake Lively is pushing for a settlement, it's easy to imagine certain narratives being shaped behind the scenes. Now, let's talk about Bryan Freedman's position in all of this. He's no stranger to high-profile disputes and certainly not one to back down. But even a legal heavyweight like him knows that when a Hollywood star starts pulling strings, things can get complicated fast. It's one thing to argue a case in court, it's another to go up against an industry machine built on controlling public perception.
Baldoni's the bad guy. And just to lay it out for the audience in a little bit more detail, what she's claiming is that even though she was a much bigger star than Justin Baldoni, who I never heard of before this lawsuit, she's the much bigger star, and she's married to an even bigger star than she is, Ryan Reynolds, that she came in and onto this project and started to get harassed and mistreated by Justin and some others.
Let's be honest, public perception is everything in Hollywood. If Blake Lively wants a settlement, it's not just about legal details. It's about controlling the narrative, whether through the press, strategically timed statements, or knowing the right people. It's all part of the game. And here's the kicker: settlements aren't always about guilt or innocence. Sometimes, they're simply about making problems disappear, ensuring the right version of events takes center stage while the drama fades away.
Blake Lively writes, I can send you my pass at the roof, or just read with you when we get together next week. Let me know what you prefer, smiley face. If you knew me in person longer, you'd have a sense of just how flirty and yummy the ball busting would play. It's my love language, spicy and playfully bold, never with teeth.
In Hollywood, where reputations are worth millions, wrapping up scandals and lawsuits quickly is crucial. If delays risk unwanted headlines, a settlement becomes the best option. And if Blake Lively is steering this case toward that outcome, one thing is clear: she's not taking no for an answer. She's making sure things go her way.
I'd like to apologize to Justin Baldoni because he treated me well and did nothing wrong, and I allowed him to sit in a basement with his family because I was starstruck by Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, that Blake Lively was the aggressor in this now epic showdown. Was it right after was it when Baldoni dropped the countersuit? Was it when Bryan Freedman put up the website with the 170 pages and all the text? Or was it right away when the Times wrote?
You might be wondering, why does Blake Lively care so much? What's in it for her? The answer is simple: control. Hollywood stars thrive on controlling the narrative, and drawn-out legal battles do the exact opposite. The longer a case drags on, the more details leak and the more unpredictable things become. And if there's one thing celebrities despise, it's unpredictability. Bryan Freedman, on the other hand, is likely weighing his options carefully. He's a seasoned attorney who knows when to push back and when to let things unfold. But if Lively is determined to speed things up, he's facing more than just legal arguments. He's up against a classic Hollywood power move, where influence can matter just as much as the law.
They actually did it is far less fruitful, right? The text about, like, we could, here's what we might do if we need to, those are everywhere. The text proving they did, far less ubiquitous in this complaint. And what you've said now in your lawsuit against the Times is, don't even believe the texts that you see in the Lively lawsuit, because they're seriously misrepresented.
Let's not forget the other side of this case. They may not have Blake Lively's star power, but they certainly have something to lose. If they're resisting a settlement, it's likely because they believe their case is strong enough to go the distance, or maybe, just maybe, they're holding out for a bigger payout. After all, lawsuits in Hollywood aren't just about justice. They're about leverage, strategy, and knowing when to play your hand.
It was monstrous what she did, and she's got to pay for it.
Live birth porn.
I think Ryan Reynolds has a few secrets in the closet, too, that they don't want people to be taking a look at, and it's going to destroy these people. That's why they wanted this attorney's eyes only privilege. And basically, we can say anything. The public can't see it, just the attorneys. It was kind of a radical thing to want, and they were arguing that, careers could be ruined. Well, what could be ruined? You might be a little embarrassed, but to ruin a career.
So where does that leave everything? For now, it's a waiting game, but if Bryan Freedman is making it clear that Blake Lively is pushing hard for a resolution, this legal drama likely won't drag on much longer. One way or another, someone is going to fold. And if Lively has anything to say about it, it won't be her. In Hollywood, it's not just about who's right or wrong, it's about who has the power to shape the outcome. And if Lively is forcing a settlement, it's not because she's hoping for the best, it's because she knows exactly how to make things go her way.